smoking, but when they hear this song, they'll learn there's more to toking. 25,000 different things we can make from it, and if we give it a chance, we'll save the blinking planet. Food, fuel and medicine, necessities for life, a benefit to all of us, our wonder and delight. Within this smelly weed, there's more than meets the eye, so much, much more than smoking, it can cleanse our dirty skies. Cannabis, cannabis, will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis, will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed.
Fantastic. Here we are again. Hemp Works, coming from the UK on Time for Hemp. Fabulous international radio. And tonight my guest is Wendy. Hello, Wendy.
Hello, Steve. Awesome song.
Oh, that's a great song. That's my friend Tony Macaroni. He wrote that for us. Now, you're an awesome mum.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Now, Wendy is one of the kind of kids, you see, because I'm quite familiar with the kind of mums, because I've had Renee on and Sierra, and I've had their mums on, so I've had can of kids on, can of mums on, can of grannies on, can of granddads on, and now we've got can of kids. Now, obviously, I've looked at your Facebook page and I've been following your story for a while now, and marvellous work you do. So would you like to tell everybody what it is that you do? Because not everybody obviously knows what we know now. Would you like to bring us up to speed on who you are and what you do?
Okay. Well, I've just started 710 Canna Kids, and it is to raise awareness for pediatric cannabis therapy. Of course, 710 is oil upside down, which is what most kids are on. And all this came about because I was reading High Tide, and they were saying, oh, let's make 710 Dad's Day, which is great. I think they should. But then I was thinking, well, you know what? We need something for these kids. These kids are struggling with these diseases that they have, and cannabis has done so much good in their lives. And I said, to myself, we really need to celebrate these kids, and they need their own day. Yeah. So I said to my husband, we should make 710 Canna Kids. It should be the kids' day. And he was like, you're right, it should. And then it all started. So we just try to, we're just now getting started. 710 hasn't came around yet, so we're just a couple months old. And, we just want to raise awareness that cannabis is not this horrific drug that everyone thinks that it is. And that it has done fantastic work in my own son and the kids across the nation with seizures. And now more autism and cancer, and, it just keeps coming out of the woodwork.
Doesn't it just?
So we want
every day.
Yeah, every day there is something new that's going on with a child that is benefiting on cannabis therapy. And I want to make people understand that this is medicine, that this is, so important for these kids, and that they're not out there smoking it and getting high and being, that typical stoner, atmosphere. It's not like that. This is real medicine, and it really works. And people don't realize that. And we need to take that to the people. We need to make sure that the other percent of us, we're always preaching to the choir. You know that cannabis works. I know that cannabis works.
Yeah.
Probably everybody that's listening to us right now knows that cannabis works.
Yeah.
Well, let's take it to the other people. Let's get it to the people that don't know that this works.
Absolutely.
Let's spread the word.
This is it. We want to get out there and tell people. I love when I do talks, when I end up with a room full of people that don't quite understand it or are dismissive of it. They're the crowd that I love, not the people that are all going, yeah. We're reaching out because I think. Can I just start? I think what you're doing with because I've been watching your day grow. This, and I think again, when you hit something, when something's correct, and it's done with the right intention, it just sort of mushrooms, doesn't it, and explodes. And I think with what you've done, giving the 17 kids, that it's a kids' day, all the Canna kids, all of them, everywhere in the world.
Yeah, everywhere in the world.
This is what's happening. I think that's a brilliant thing that you've done, and I'm so glad that I can help you support it. And of course, then this other thing we're going back to. You've come across this plant because unfortunately, your own child got sick, and from what I saw on the Facebook pages, you also went down the road of the PLC medicine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that didn't seem to work, and the side effects, as we all know, of those type of medicines are absolutely horrendous, aren't they?
They are ridiculous. I can't believe now that I am in the cannabis community what I did to my child before. You know, I can't believe I did that. I just was, and I knew that it was wrong. You know, and I think that all of us who are just now learning all about all this, Sierra Riddle, I love her. She felt like, this chemotherapy was just wrong. Well, I felt the same way. I had my son on Humira, and Humira is a TNF-A blocker, and it has so many side effects. T-cell lymphoma, tuberculosis, liver disorders, kidney function disorders, histoplasmosis. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Yeah. And I was like, the very first shot that we gave him, we did it at our hospital, and it hurt him, so he cried. Yeah. But I cried just as much. I just knew that the medicine that I was sticking in his leg to help him cure this disease that he has was killing him. Yeah. This was wrong. I just knew it in my soul. It took me 3 months to say, okay, fine, we'll do it.
Excuse me, how old is your son, by the way? I've only seen photographs of him. How old is he?
He's only 14.
He's just, he looks like... And again, one of the things that always amazes me is the photographic evidence. They're not photoshopped, these photographs. When you see the kids like Landon and like your son and like all the other babies, you see them how they were, and then you see them a little bit further down the line, and it's a transformation, completely.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't need to see any more than that. That's the proof. That's what we say, that the proof before our very eyes is there, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. And I tell people that all the time. I love the fact the best way to make people understand was that Colton left. Nobody knew. We just picked him up. We live in Illinois. Yeah. My husband just said, "Okay, enough is enough. We're going."
Okay, so Illinois is not one of the good states, I take it. Illinois.
It is kind of now. It's still on the ballot. The governor has to sign it. It's not for Colton. They did pass it for pediatric use for epilepsy, but we have to appeal, which is no big deal. But it wasn't at the time. So we picked Colton up, moved him to Colorado. Yeah. And this was in March. And he came back for a couple of weeks so he could pick up his stuff, get his bed, have to actually move. Yeah. And came by, some of his friends came by and some of their parents. And they were shocked. I mean, absolutely shocked about his growth, with his height, his weight. He's gained 10 pounds since March, and as a Crohn's patient, who they struggle with weight gain a lot, and this is huge for him. Absolutely huge. He has not grown or gained weight like this on any other pharmacy medicine.
And of course, at 14, that's the growing phase, isn't it, for a young man?
Yeah.
That's when he's done.
And he was in growth failure. Yeah. He was actually in growth failure when we started this whole journey through Crohn's disease. And He was 3 means below the standard. So when he was diagnosed, he was 11. And he was actually the size of an 8-year-old. He was, you know how they have those growth charts?
Yeah.
He was off the chart on the negative side. So he was in the 1%. And the doctor said that out of the 1%, he's the 1% of that. And they said he's absolutely in complete growth failure.
Oh my God.
And, you know, some of the pharmacy stuff, it helped. You know, he did regain some remission, and, you know, it helped for a little while, but then they fail again.
Yeah.
And, you know, and with cannabis, we don't have those horrible side effects.
No.
So, you know, that's what was really important. Colton has failed every medication that he's been on, most like every other child out there. He makes antibodies towards it, and he's developed drug-induced lupus because of the drugs that he has.
Yeah.
And, you know, with cannabis, we don't have to worry about that. And he's walking around. You know, that's what I love. In January, we took a trip to New York City.
Yeah.
We wheeled him around in a wheelchair because he couldn't walk. He was too tired. He was too sick. He couldn't do it. But yet a couple of days, maybe a week on cannabis. He was hiking.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Not just as a parent, but as a human. You know, as a human being watching another, let alone it being your son, your own DNA, it just the effect of that must be jaw-dropping.
It is. I want to tell the world, look at my son. Look at what is, I don't care about the research. I have proof.
Yes.
I have
living proof.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Living proof. And he feels great. Yeah.
Wow.
And I just that's why we started 710. And because everyone needs to know. Everyone needs to know. And we don't need to just, like I said, preach to the choir. We need to tell everybody. And use Colton and Landon and Brandon and Haley and, you know, all of these kids that are going through this and being pioneers for their diseases.
Yeah.
They need to, you know, people need to see this.
Of course they do. I think for me in the early days, I was sort of questioning about was it right to use the kids. But of course it is, because they deserve their story to be told, because the other thing is, it was little Cash's birthday, I believe, over the weekend. He was one of the children that didn't make it. And again, of course the story needs to be told, because there's so many more kids out there that are not receiving this treatment or under persecution for receiving this treatment, when we know that your case, even if it was an isolated case, it would be fantastic. If it only your son it cured, it'd be worth doing it. But it's not, is it? It's curing kid after kid, after patient across the world.
Across the world. And I get one of my best friend's daughter had leukemia.
Yeah.
And we would talk back and forth, you know, as parents, that a lot of, you know, when you have a sick kid, if you don't have a sick kid, you don't understand what we go through. And as a parent, it's nice to talk to someone else. And she was going through leukemia, and we were going through Crohn's disease, totally two different diseases, but we knew where we were together in this fight, and we supported each other. And I had learned about cannabis too late for my friend.
Yeah.
And she died.
Yeah.
And her little girl died. And I wish every day that I could have saved her and that we could have learned about this sooner.
Yeah.
And it could have helped her. But, you know, I don't just do it for Colton, but I do it for Kelsey.
Absolutely.
You know, she needed to know. We need to save her life. And she'd been through chemotherapy and, you know, the bone marrow transplants and all that stuff. And
horrific stuff, isn't it? Wendy, we're going to go for the first break. Horrible. Okay, I'm going to cut you there. Okay, we're just going to take a break for a couple of minutes. We can talk off air while we play the adverts.
Okay.
Cool.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill. Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
Even Prince Charlie has a high regard for weed. He recommends it to MS sufferers who are in desperate need. It's medicinal, it's pure, and it helps to ease the pain. And if you're feeling down, my friend, it'll pick you up again. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is a very useful weed.
Hello, Wendy. Right, we're back again. So I just want to pull back on your story slightly. So you was in Illinois. That's where you lived. That's where your family was. And then because your son got sick and Illinois wasn't a good state for this, what we're calling medical cannabis, you decided to go down to one of the better states, which is Colorado, and that's where you're getting your treatment without persecution of governments or sheriffs or law makers or whatever, yeah? And your son is really doing well on this medicine. I mean, I've seen the photographs, so I know he's doing well. He's responded very well to this herbal medicine, yeah? Is he still taking
better than any others?
Sorry?
He doesn't take anything but cannabis.
Right, so he's not taking any of the other nasty pharmaceuticals. I just like, because again, Sierra's always comes out with the brilliant quotes, and she was sort of saying as well at one point that even if these PLC medications had worked, then Landon and the other children would have all grown up basically to have been junkies, at very best. But as we know, the medicine doesn't even work. It normally kills them before they get to that stage. And I agree with you on this research thing. The research is a wonderful thing that they're doing it, and it's just very exciting. But for the likes of me and you and thousands of others, we just want to be able to get our medication, take it, and it works, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't. Right now, I think we haven't found another pediatric patient that has Crohn's disease that's actually taking cannabis for his sole medication. So Colton's pretty much the only one. I'd love to find some more out there so I can pick their brain.
I bet there has to be. Hopefully, if anybody listening in, if anybody's listening in that knows the kid with Crohn's, you know where to contact now. Yeah.
Exactly.
And again, it's a nasty. I've never heard of it in kids before, to be honest with you. It was only about 5 or 6 years ago that I'd even heard of Crohn's.
Well, I didn't either until he got it. And from what I've researched, for the most part, you don't get it until, your mid to upper 20s or your 30s. And then when you're older, 50 and 60-year-old people are getting this, and it's very rare. It's not really rare. Because I know that there's got to be more kids than Colton out there. I mean, we know some that have Crohn's disease, but it's not very prevalent in the adolescent community.
No, I'm thinking I've never actually heard of it before in adolescence. But then again, it doesn't surprise me. I'm learning a lot of diseases that children are getting now that I don't remember when I was a kid. We didn't have these sort of problems. Yeah.
Well, GMOs, there's so many things that could be, creating it. We don't know if maybe colon cancer back when was partly Crohn's disease. My grandmother had supposedly, and now she thinks, well, maybe it wasn't it. When she was in her 30s, she had colon cancer, and they removed part of her colon, and she was fine. She didn't take chemotherapy. She's 87 now. She's crazy. She's riding motorcycles, and she's lived a very I love her. But then Colton got sick, and she questioned it. She's like, well, maybe that's what I had, because I have a hard time eating certain things, and my stomach hurts every now and then, and blah blah blah. But she's never had another flare since then. So she's debating whether she had colon cancer, and if it was possibly Crohn's disease, and they just didn't know it. It gets misdiagnosed so easily, and kids go misdiagnosed for years. Now, Colton, we didn't know that he had Crohn's disease. He actually kind of had a traumatic incident where he nearly drowned at a camp out with his Boy Scout troop.
Right.
And he got a bacterial infection.
Yeah.
So that's how it triggers his Crohn's.
And maybe the shock of it as well.
Yeah. Well, the stress of it.
And the stress and the shock.
But when we looked back at his medical records, we would always bring him in for, he has a bellyache. He has a bellyache. And his doctor was like, I am so sorry. We should have researched this a little bit more. But he lays down and it goes away. and he's a kid. Sometimes you ignore it. You're like, oh, you don't want to do your homework.
Yeah.
Quit, But looking back, there's, he was probably misdiagnosed numerous times prior to the incident.
Yeah.
And because he got very, very ill, more research had to be done on him and more testing, and that's how we found Crohn's disease. So, and it does kind of run supposedly in families, and I've kind of seen it. I see that there's a hereditary aspect of the whole disease, just by doing my research and talking to people. And my brother has UC, and they got diagnosed 6 months away from each other. So my brother got diagnosed with UC when he was 40, and 6 months later, Colton got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And they both kind of had the same type of incident. My brother was in the Air Force, and he had got sick from some water that they were drinking. He was deployed, and that kind of triggered the UC. Yeah. And Colton kind of did the same thing. He drowned in this lake and got very ill from the lake, and we thought that he just had a bacterial infection. And it came to be a little bit more than that. And so, most people aren't that lucky to get that kind of trigger. We say that we're lucky that we got a trigger because we know where it came, we know what happened. But a lot of people that I've talked to just ate something bad, and just got sick or got the flu, and then, bam, they have Crohn's, and they're like, what?
So do you think with this medicine, do you think it's actually, is it curing the Crohn's? Or do you think...
I feel that it is curing the Crohn's.
It's curing the Crohn's.
We're giving it a couple more months.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go back and get a colonoscopy.
Right.
And then we'd like to see the results, compare the results of the colonoscopy when he was in active disease.
Yeah.
And now, to see how much it really has
closed up,
calmed the inflammation down. Yeah.
Yeah. I can say.
And then that's really good proof.
Yeah. I have Sarah who's part of the charity. She has a lot of stomach problems for 18 years. And she had a colostomy and a scan thing not so long ago. And the amount of repair that had been done since she's been on the medicine was absolutely a miracle. Even a doctor sort of said that. So she's actually seeing, and she's an she's not an elderly lady. She's in her 40s, and so she's not going through that growth spurt. So she's actually seeing physical changes inside of the body that are repairable.
Because he feels it.
Yeah. Sarah says the same, funny enough. That's one of the things she's always saying. I can actually feel it repairing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite amazing, isn't it? How long has he been on the medicine for?
He started his medication, he started his oil on March 25th.
So it's really early days, isn't it, as far as the medicine's concerned?
Right.
For conventional medicine. Yeah.
He kind of started a little earlier than that, because when we got there, my husband was desperate. We were told that we weren't going to be able to get oil for a while. Colton was extremely sick at the time, so he went to the dispensary and got his own. It's legal in Colorado, and he just made Colton some brownies.
Of course.
And started from there. And
so,
when you are in our position, desperate parents take desperate measures.
Well, it's again the breaking this law, isn't it? What law is there? There is no law. It's just these seems to be the politicians are standing in the way. Did you see over the weekend there was something happened in Australia? Australia is pretty draconian on this cannabis and medical stuff. And they had a film that was showing about a young lad. I can't remember what problem he had. But again, it's one of these wonderful cannabinoid medicine stories. And after the TV programme, which was a major network in Australia, they put it to the TV vote. 97% were in favour 97% of the people
Yes.
picked up their telephones and were in favour of medical cannabis. Now, my God,
I believe it.
that is an incredible amount.
That's
So
fantastic.
wherever people learn about this, they go, well, of course we want it. Why not? So again,
and that's why we need to tell the people that don't get it.
Yeah.
That's why we need to get these kids' stories out. This is fantastic. Everybody needs to know this story.
Everybody needs to know
whatever movie it was needs to be played here in the United States.
Yeah. So again, right, so you've moved your whole family down to Colorado. So you're what they call one of these refugees, really, a refugee family.
Well, we're still in the process of moving. I actually still live in Illinois. We have
we're in the UK. Can you give us some idea of the distance involved in those two places? What's the distance?
Well, we're kind of lucky. We are able to afford having two places right now. But it was pick up and go and just get him out there. So my husband actually took him, and they stayed in hotels for days and looking for apartments. And they finally found one, got settled down. He got his medical card. We found the Hope Foundation, and they are giving Colton his oil, and he's been doing fantastic. Now, we live separately, which was really hard for me because I was his primary caregiver at the time.
Yeah.
And I had to stay home because I have my own business, and I had to stay home and run that.
Yeah.
And then they were out there, and I was like, "Well, so what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" And my husband was like, "This is crazy. It's just fantastic. It's a miracle. He's doing things. He's walking. He's throwing snowballs at me. We're fighting. We're wrestling around, and he was great. But it's been." Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Got his life back, got everything. Our whole family. My daughter said one day, I can't remember what Colton had done, but it made her laugh. And she just, giggling, and she turned around and she goes, I just love marijuana.
Oh,
she got her brother back.
How old is she?
12. She's 12.
Fantastic. Because he got her brother back.
Understands it. Yes, she got her brother back. As a family, when you have a sick child, everyone takes, part of the toll on themselves. Absolutely. And so it was really difficult for her and her older brother to have to deal with this illness, constantly going to the hospital, missing out on dance class, missing out on Boy Scouts, they had, our whole lives, all five of us.
Yeah. It
revolved around Crohn's disease. So now she's like, yeah, I love this stuff.
I love this stuff too, right?
I got my brother back, and we can be a normal family again. And that's what it's done. We get to be a normal family again. Now, granted, we have to pick up our lives from Illinois and move it to Colorado. But, we could be moving to Iowa. And, not that I don't love Iowa. I go to Iowa a lot. But it's kind of flat, Colorado.
Again, it's the whole. The point of the matter is the medicine works. We all know it works, because some stupid politician somewhere can't be asked to read the research or just take a look at the photographic evidence. You have to move your whole family from one place and cart it off to another place just so that you can be legal. It's like, hello, we're the taxpayers. This stuff works, and we want it. What's up with these guys? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't wish bad things on anyone, but I wish they would. If they had a kid in our position, then what would they do?
Exactly.
I was furious about this swimming guy. I don't know if. He was saying, oh, no, it's not going to happen, and Chris Christie. And, I just don't understand if they were in our positions when it was desperate for us, when we had no other choice. The next thing that Colton could do is another biological, which is similar to Humira. Was when we came home from the hospital and they gave us the choices of what we could do. Colton researched Cimzia, and he came downstairs from his room one day, and he said, I'm not taking Cimzia. You guys are going to have to find another way. And we were like, my husband and I were just looking at him like, okay.
Yeah.
So we started researching alternative medicines, you
Yeah.
know, and we found cannabis. And we were like, okay, so we took another month, researched it, read about it. You know, we were like, Colorado is open for it, and we can take him there. If that doesn't work, we're going to Israel, because Israel, you know, they figured it out. They know what's going on. Yeah. So when you have a child like that, when you're scared that, you know, the last thing that he was tested for was T-cell lymphoma, which is fatal, you do what you have to do.
We all say that,
granted,
when we have kids, this is one of the things that all comes out of parents. We will do anything for our children. Yeah?
Absolutely. And when you have children, when you see that it works in your child, and now you have your life back, and he has his life back, you want to do it for another kid, and that is why we started 710. We need to celebrate these kids. We need to make sure that people know, look at these children. Look at what this plant is doing. You know, let it grow. Let them grow. Let them, you know, let it be.
Why not? Why not?
Know?
Let it be. Why not? It doesn't do any harm. It's got multiple benefits. Even when you take it down to the financial bit, you're in Colorado, they're having a real windfall of tax. And even at the moment, there's still sort of crazy legislation going on. When the whole industry is just totally opened up, it's just going to be so much better for everybody. Everybody wins.
Everybody's just going to be able to breathe again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I feel. You know, I wish that everyone could just be in my shoes for one day.
Yeah.
And just, you know, be in my shoes when it was pharmaceuticals and all the stress and, gosh, is he getting tuberculosis? Does he have tuberculosis? Does he have lymphoma? You know, we're scared and the shots hurt and it makes him sick. And he took methotrexate, which is a cancer chemotherapy medicine. And, you know, then, and it all fails. And you're like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And you're just sad and down and depressed. And then you find cannabis.
You find the magic. Right, on that note, we've got to take the next break. We find cannabis. Let's go for a break.
We found it.
You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP cardholder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor. So come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill. Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Rationality, liberality, open out your minds. The sun is closing in and we're running out of time. There's no point in worrying, no wondering what to do, cause the answer's in the colour green, it's shining through and through. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis, it's a very useful weed. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis, cannabis is very good indeed. Cannabis, cannabis will save the planet with cannabis.
Hi, Wendy. Right, we're back. Mark.
Hey.
So, listen, before the break, we was just talking about, we found cannabis, which is great. What I'm interested again is this, how you divided your life up between 2 states. So you sort of mentioned briefly that you had your own company in where you lived in Illinois, yeah? And have you managed to move that company down to Colorado? Does it?
Well, we've managed to we have had fantastic employees, and my personal assistant is actually going to take over our business, and it's going to stay here, and it's going to thrive just without me.
Oh, sorry, you mentioned employees. So I take it you're a medium-sized business then. You've got employees.
We have 6 employees. We're just a small
So
little.
you're an
teach
employer.
gymnastics. Yes.
So, well, the point I'm getting to is basically because of the political situation in the state where you did live, because you couldn't get the right medicine for your son, you've had to move to another state, and really, as well, that's what they're doing, is losing a taxpayer, isn't it? Somebody that's built up a business, that's employed 6 people in that state, which is all, tax on your food, tax on your petrol, tax on your shoes, tax on your... Right?
Absolutely.
That's all money going into the state coffers. Well, and that money, because of their stupid politics, basically they want your son to die. There's no other way of putting it, is there?
Yes.
They want to feed him on a load of pharmaceutical stuff that makes them some money, rather than giving him the plant life. They've just lost and this is what they're going to keep finding in every state, in every country. that people will not stay in that state. You will get a brain drain. You will get a labour drain. Because the states where it's happening, stuff is happening.
Well, look at Colorado.
Look at Colorado.
They're getting the benefits of us leaving.
Yeah.
You know, it's been very beneficial for Colorado. I wouldn't want any others. If I was Colorado, I wouldn't want any other state to legalize it.
No,
they're making the killer.
That's probably a very good political move. Don't tell them that.
Right, but you know, I would love to stay here in Illinois. Not that, you know, it's beautiful like what it is in Colorado, but my family is here. I'm from here. This is where I grew up. This is where my kids grew up. You know, we have memories here. They have friends. You should have the choice.
You should have the choice. It should be your choice. What state?
And you know, my kids have had to. They're going to have to say goodbye to their friends, and you know, I could easily pick up my business and move it to Colorado.
Yeah,
I could easily do that, and then there goes all that tax-paying money. You know, not only are they losing a family paying taxes, but they're losing a business. And that, you know, if my business was bigger, who knows what kind of, you know, detriment it could have caused to the state of Illinois.
Six
you know,
people, that's
I'm just
six
one person.
people's jobs. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, it
and
could
that's
be
the reason why we keep it here.
6 people's jobs.
Yeah.
6 families are dependent on the work that you created.
Yes.
And the money that they spend in their local shop or the goods that they buy, other people depend on that. When you take us infrastructure out, it runs right across the chain. It has a cascade effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
I tell you again, that's
why we're leaving
Colorado. In fact, if I was the governor down in Colorado now, I'd offer tax incentives to get these companies down there. Bring your company to Colorado, be a can of mum, a can of kid, a can of patient, and I'll give you a tax incentive to move down here. Bring your company, bring your jobs, bring your people. Jesus Christ, it'd be the richest. Texas would have nothing compared in wealth to what Colorado have. It'd be like
we're having a hard enough time renting a house right now and finding a house, so let's not do that either.
Yeah.
Because Colorado is very popular as it is, and we're you know, trying to find a place to rent, you know, for a family of 5 has been difficult. So if we start giving tax incentives, then granted, which I think would be fantastic, and I would take advantage of that. But I can't find an apartment to rent. Yeah.
See, right, if you're the governor,
everybody's moving to Colorado.
Give this lady a centre to run her company from and run her can of business from, and then she'll invite all these other people down. There you go. Simple as that. They must have some houses around. And again, that's not for anybody that invests in houses in Colorado. Your house price is going to go up. You invest in other states, your house prices is going to go down. See, the knock-on effect is just astronomical, isn't it? We're getting health, we're getting wealth, we're getting a future. And again, we're building a future for our kids. Once people understand about them, we are then also going to be leaving them a planet that might be fit to live on. Yeah.
I wish people would understand that it's okay for kids.
Yeah, of course it's okay.
And that, you know, that there is a big business in this.
Yeah.
And don't leave our kids out, because it's, you know, there like you said, there's just so many things that can be surrounded by cannabis, businesses and opportunities and health and wellness and life and just, like I said before, being able to just breathe, and as a mom, it just surrounds cannabis. I mean, this is just it's the key word in our life right now, and it could be the key word in so many others.
Absolutely. If we're going to have a future as a human race, cannabis plays a part in it.
I absolutely agree. Yeah. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. So listen, we're running down to the last statement. So right, let's give some shout outs. Right, where do we find you? What's your website addresses and your Facebook addresses?
We just right now our website is still being published, so it hasn't been published yet. But we are at 710 Cannakids on Facebook, and we are at 710 Cannakids on Twitter.
Yeah.
And or you can find me on my Facebook at Wendy Turner. And you know, we're going to have a 710 celebration Woodman Valley Park in Colorado Springs on 7/10. And we are going to be popping or releasing our balloons, whatever you feel like you need to do. We've really debated on whether we're going to release them because it's, we still want to be environmentally safe.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, well, gosh, if we pop them, what a noise would we make? What a noise!
Yeah.
That'd get somebody's attention.
Wendy, I think this should be worldwide on that day. It shouldn't just be in your state. I think everybody, even if they just went to their local balloon shop and wrote 710 on a balloon and let it loose. You never know. Let's float some balloons around the world.
We have the balloons. Well, we want to raise awareness, and we want to create 710 Canna Kids for the awareness way, to make sure that everybody understands that, hey, it's okay for kids to do this. Yeah. But we also, part of the kind of other side of 710 Canna Kids is that we are selling the balloons so the kids families can sell them for profit. And then it's a fundraiser for them. Fantastic. And they take that money and use it for their medicines, or they use it for their travel expenses, or the move from here to a legal state, or even just going back and forth to their Congress. Because, driving back and forth to my capital, it was really expensive because it's about an hour and 15 minutes away from us. And so, that just trying to lobby and trying to get these representatives and Senate members and House representatives, just everyone, everyone involved in legislation, it costs money, and we did all that on our own. And I was like, we really need to not just raise awareness, but raise funds for these kids and for these parents. And what could we do to do that? So we thought, okay, we'll have a balloon bash, and at every place around the United States, we're having balloon bashes in Louisiana, Texas, Michigan, Florida, Colorado, of course, here in Illinois, Alabama.
So will you be writing the addresses when you let them off? Will it have an address on it where the balloon came from?
Well, if they release them now in the states, there are laws against that in some states.
Well,
so we have to be really careful about it. Yeah, letting off balloons, we're not allowed to do that because of the environmental situation. I understand that, but some states still allow it. So if you choose to release the balloons, then we give you a short piece of string, and it's a jute string, so it's biodegradable, and if the birds pick it up, they can use it for their nest. So we're trying to think about the environment. But then we have a little note on the piece of paper that says, this balloon is for, and then you could put their child's name and his diagnosis or her diagnosis, and a special message, that says, we love you, or, this is for you. If you found this balloon, please, go to 710 Canna Kids and, do more research on cannabis oil therapy for children. So we do have a little piece of paper if they choose to release the balloon.
So
my suggestion to some of the families where if you can't release them, take them to your state capitol. Pop them all at the same time. It's going to be loud. It's going to be there, and it's going to get somebody's attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
let's all go fly a balloon. And of course, if anybody finds one, far away, you never know. Sometimes these balloons end up in Gulf Streams and they end up thousands of miles away. So don't forget, if you find them, phone them in. Tell us where they are. Just pick it up and read it, and go to the website and throw the balloon away, and just be a normal person. Don't throw a fit about it. Just do what's right. So I suppose about my big shout out. So I've got to do a shout out now to my Hemp Works charity UK.org. Fantastic people. And the World Hemp Conference is coming up. I'll give you some more details on that. That's coming up in August. And we're going to be there with the charity and the radio, and I'm going to be giving a talk there, so that'd be fun. Where else is going on? Always a big shout out to Tony Macaroni.
I want to shout out.
Go for it.
Can I do a shout?
Yeah.
I'd like to do a shout out to Hope Foundation, the Flowering Hope Foundation in Longmont, Colorado, and Jason Cranford for all of his fantastic medicine that he's giving my child, and I really appreciate that. And shout out to all the Canna kids out there, and all the Canna moms, and all the Canna people that are doing this for every illness. This is fantastic.
Isn't it just?
My shout out.
We're all absolutely so excited. It's unfortunate that we've all come to it maybe through sickness or something other, but at the end of the day now we're all involved, and these are exciting times. And really, as Wendy pointed out, we're all preaching to the converted. We're trying to reach out now to those you that don't know, yeah? And if you've heard something about it, get more involved. It's easy. All you got to do is Google it now. Just go to Google, bosh it in, and you'll be absolutely stunned at the amount of information that's out there. Wendy, you've been a delightful guest. Please keep us up to date about all the things you're doing. We'd like to promote the 710 Day. I think flying balloons is a wonderful thing to do.
Thank you. And we will fly some, and some will pop. And we'll do.
Keep your son on the medicine.
Maybe we'll put some
keep posted on
water
Facebook.
in them and have a.
Yeah,
I will.
Keep it all going. You know it makes sense.
And
love you.
I want a copy of your I want a copy of your song.
Of the.